Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at a new French premium battleship that they're bringing in, the Courbet. And it's kind of odd to see this thing, since, France doesn't have a ton of battleships. I believe it has two in the actual standard tech tree. Yeah, you have the Paris, and then you also have the Lorraine. So to see the third one being added to the game as a premium is a little bit odd. The Courbet is part of the Courbet class, not really a surprise, the same as the Paris, as you can see. But it does have slightly different features, mainly more of a lack of a secondary/tertiary armament. It has 6 dual-mounted 305mm guns, and they are in this wonderful blister pattern, which means that you can't get all of them on targets at a singular time. So all the time you have an extra ammo rack, which you can get blown up on, but it cannot get its shots on target. It's one of the most infuriating things personally. I understand why they built stuff like this, but it is just annoying from a general point of view. But yeah, you have 2 turrets on the back and the front, and then 2 in the middle too. You also have 22 single-mounted 138mm guns, all in these little areas here along the center. All in sets of 3, and then 2 sat on the back. Then you also have 3 3-pounder Hotchkiss guns. Wow, what an armament for AA. Don't you just love that? 3 3-pounder Hotchkiss guns, and they are right here. There's actually more than 3, so I don't know why it says there are 3, but there's at least 4, at least in this picture. So I have no idea why they've only put 3, but there's because this one just isn't labeled as a Hotchkiss cannon. So there you go. There's 4, but 1 has just been mislabeled. So lovely. Doesn't matter anyway. It's literally only a few different guns. It does have torpedoes though. So has some standard ones out the back, which you can't see right here. There you go. And then also has some torpedo tubes at the front. So none of this nonsense of firing one forwards or backwards, side by side as we go around. The thing about having the turret set up like it is means that there is ammo absolutely everywhere on this vehicle. There is a bunch in the front, bunch in the back, and bunch in the middle, meaning that wherever you shoot it, you will cause it to explode. One of the biggest issues with the French vehicles is this. You have also the coal bunkers to try and keep it alive, the transmissions, the engines in the center, and then also 3 smoke funnels, which is kind of nice to see. On top of this, you have, of course, once again, the coal bunkers, but mainly the rolled cemented armor in the center, a 250mm belt. You also have a little bit more protection for where the turrets are, which is kind of interesting. You can see here there's a 232mm slab instead of just 142, and that's to protect these turrets on either side. You also have the actual rolled cemented armor around the ammo elevators, which gives you 236mm, and on the front of the turrets you have 250. The bridge has 266, being probably the most armored area on this machine, which is kind of surprising. And then also you have a bunch of small pieces of armor in the extremities for the vehicle itself. The 305mm guns, since this vehicle is from the 1920s, they are a little bit better than some of their counterparts in other nations. They have a better reload, 2.1 rounds instead of 2, and also they have a better targeting speed, 4.5 degrees instead of 3, which is obviously doesn't seem like a big difference, but you are actually timesing it by 1.5, which, well, is. And also you do have the rangefinder, which will give you 85% accuracy on where you're shooting, which kind of sucks, but what you're going to do at the end of the day, hopefully the shots go. And as I said, you do have a better reload than a lot of other vehicles that are around the place. The 305mm have access to HE in the form of 27.72 kilos of it, with 66mm of pen, and then the APC which will be probably the preferred round, has up to 460 millimeters of pen, 172 at 60 degrees at 1000 meters, and the TNT equivalent is 18.11 kilos of melanite, which is actually quite nice on the vehicle itself. When you compare this to a lot of other APs, it does do more damage. The 138s are some of my favorite guns of the French naval forces, but also at the same time, at this high of a BR, definitely aren't as useful. You have the standard HE shell with melanite with 3.41 kilos, with not a lot of pen. You have some more melanite in the standard common shell with a bit more penetration, and then more penetration and basically the same amount of melanite in it too. But the amount of penetration isn't crazy. As I said, this is really a really good round for destroying destroyers, but not very good against battle cruisers or battleships, or cruisers which are of the heavy variety, which is what you're going to face in this thing. Has an improved rangefinder, which is nice, some ammo wetting, so you don't explode as quickly in this machine compared to others, but also is pretty limited because of the way that the turrets are set out, and also, of course, the standard reload and the armor, which isn't as good as a lot of other vehicles. Looking at the camouflages, since this is a premium, it does actually only get access to one camouflage because I'm guessing it's special compared to a lot of the other machines. I would actually prefer it if these vehicles also got access to the other camouflages which were available, and I'm sure they will in time, which would be quite nice. It's another vehicle which I believe is a GE vehicle as well for a rank 5 premium. I don't think they actually brought out the big dollars for this and made it a pack, so that is something to think about. And also, you may have noticed that they have changed some of the sounds that you can hear in naval, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of new voice lines, by the way, mainly in ground. In naval, some of them are pretty cool, but mainly the atmospheric sounds have been changed, not just in naval, but in other areas too. To give you an idea of how useful the Hotchkisses are, I will just put it on so it shoots at air, but the main guns should be able to hammer pretty much anything that you face. And also make a wonderful noise while doing it. Even one round just hitting that target pretty much decimated half of the machine, which is quite good. And at the same time, the range setting on it is pretty nice. So overall, it'll do good damage to what it needs to. The only issue is the reload, and also some other factors not being as strong as other vehicles. I feel like at 6.3 though, it will be fine. It's not something that's going to blow away the competition. It's not something that's going to take over the game or really give you anything different. It's going to be able to do exactly what it says on the tin and give you a very similar experience to many other battleships that you see around the area. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Juan the Panda, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Bareen, Peter Grayling, Alan Hacker, Sem Alslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R., and also Lafouche for supporting the channel.